My name is David Waigwa. I work in Qatar. I'm a mathematics instructor. Been working there for the last 1.5 years. Prior to that, I've worked in Kazakhstan as an international mathematics teacher. And before that, I was in Rwanda, where I worked for 5 years. I have a friend of mine who works with Waigwa Ngari, and she introduced me to the masterclass. Prior to that, about 7 years ago, I had attended one of Waigwa's introductory classes, and which I found very beneficial. This time around, when I was introduced to the program, I felt really that I had a foundation about it and wanted to learn more about it. When it comes to facing financial problems, I must say I didn't really face any major problem. However, I knew deep down that I needed to learn how to save better. I needed to know how to manage my finances better, possibly even diversifying my knowledge about investments. The pain points that I had previously was strictly about savings. When you save your money in any institution, you always get tempted to use it, and sometimes you don't achieve your goals because you want to use it for something which was not intended for. So I needed to be guided deeper on how to manage my finances better. One of the major goals that I was not able to achieve in my yesteryears, I had always wanted to pursue further studies, and I always felt that I needed to save enough money so that I could pursue possibly my doctorate degree. So for a long time, I had been trying to save for that for more than 10 years so that I could start my online doctorate program. And so that was really a major pain point that restricted me from doing my studies. As with any program and with anything that we do in life, we always assume we know so much. Personally, having been a math teacher, I thought I knew much about savings. I thought I knew much about investments. However, I found out that knowing is not necessarily the same as practicing. And I can just give a brief example here. I have 3 children, and being an educator myself, when we went to Kazakhstan, we decided to have our children homeschooled, and we did our best. We thought that was the best program for them. We taught them during our free time. However, 2 years down the line, we found out that they were not gaining as much as they would if they happened to be in a normal school setup. And so sometimes we make mistakes thinking that we are able to do things ourselves despite being professionals. We need to hear from other people on the field who have been doing the same thing for a long time so that we are able to manage ourselves better in order for us to be more prosperous. Some of the benefits that I have learned from the masterclass are, number one, I've learned to make savings. I've learned to manage my savings adequately. I've also learned how to be a better investor. I've broadened my ken on investments. I've also been a better coach, not only to my peers, but also to my children about how to manage their finances. As a former student of the Wealth Creation Masterclass, I must say that I have gained immense knowledge and skills surrounding investments and savings. One of the things that Waigwa Ngari taught us was how to plan efficiently for university education, especially for children who are doing their studies. And that is something that really drains many parents. So I've been able to set up a structure where I would save for my children. I have also been able to think widely about other investment programs that would not only help me pursue these goals, but also make me more financially stable. When I started the class, I had a project which was at the back of my mind, but I always thought that I didn't have enough resources to to complete. But once I joined the class with Wahome Ngare's guidance, I was able to actually see that whatever I thought was just a dream could become a reality. And so I started building my 4-bedroomed house. This is just another house on top of what I had built before. So I started building it, and within 1 year I had completed building it with the forethought of putting it for the Airbnb program so that it can generate funds not only for me but also for my parents. Well, I would say it's a worthy venture. I would say this is a program which is beneficial to each and every person. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes we think we know so much, but then we need guidance from people who have been on the field for long, people who are doing this for their career, people who are living this each and every day. So I would inform my best friend that they need to join the program in order to broaden their skills and knowledge about savings and also about investments. The Wealth Creation Masterclass is applicable to everybody regardless of where they live in. One area that Wahome Ngare focuses on is the Kenyan market, primarily because he's a Kenyan himself and because he has also worked within the Kenyan environment for very long. He has also worked in diaspora, but one thing I would like to mention about the Wealth Creation Masterclass is that there is a structure which is followed on a weekly basis. There are some questions that are asked that guide the student or the participant into thinking about ways of saving, into thinking about ways of investing, depending on the environment where they are in. So, for example, we used to get homework each and every week. The homework had several questions that would guide your thinking about. I'll just give an example. The first class we had, we were taught about assets and liabilities. We were then tasked to list down what we have. For example, what we have in the house, what businesses we have, what investments you have. So regardless of the country you are in, I think you're able to list down the assets that you have and to think about ways in which you can try to save on some of the things that you buy without realizing. So despite the focus being on the Kenyan market, it's applicable to each and every person regardless of where they are.